Hello everyone and welcome to day 8 of the G1 Climax review series. My name is Peps and I apologize first of all that I wasn't able to upload this one yesterday like originally planned. I had a lot to do in real life. I lost some things and needed to figure out how to get through the next couple of days because, well, I live on my own and yeah, whatever, too deep into that. I would just say we jump straight into the matches because we have 5 A block matches and we start off with Sonata versus Kellum Newman, and both are entering with a 3-2 record, negative record, so 2-3 record, and need to win to be on a good way heading into the final days of the A block. Like, it pretty much was a kind of like situation, okay, whoever loses here is pretty much technically eliminated considering how both are booked. Like, none of them will have the comeback run that Finlay will be on, so whoever wins this has a chance. Whoever loses will likely be out of contention on the final day. Kellum, of course, entered this with the big win over David Finlay. Meanwhile, Sonata just beat his rival and former tag team partner or like stable partner Taiichi on the day before. So both have kind of some momentum coming into this match. And it straight up started with Sonata trying to attack Kellum during his entrance, but Kellum saw it coming, countered it, did dive to an outside, and they started typical crowd brawl that had like that every Sonata match has, with the typical Milano move involvement that was always like a little bit funny, but nothing like out of the ordinary that we haven't seen before from especially Sonata in this tournament. Back into the ring, they did the typical stuff with Sonata trying to out-cheat Kellum, but Kellum blocked it all. In the end, then, Kellum blocked another low blow, hit 2 great near strikes, like they were legitimately 2 of the best neutral strikes that Kellum has hit so far in his career, and then, of course, won the match. Like, it was the typical Sonata match that we have seen now, like 6 times, I believe. 7 times even? No, 6 times. And I don't know what really I need to say about it. It was the typical House of Torture Sonata nonsense that I mostly liked, and it was mostly kept in check here. It was nothing like that you will remember in 2 days even. It was just a solid opening match with solid wrestling and Newman continuing to show process, in my opinion, showing promise that he maybe end up being one of the better wrestlers in the roster down the line if he continues to improve like that, because of course that is what we wish as someone that, or at least personally, that I wish as someone that watches New Japan all year long and wants to see the new generation step up. And Kellum is part of the new generation, is booked and treated as part of the new generation, and moving forward will also be like established likely as one of the top players in this promotion. Like, this guy was the one who got the Nitro rub out of when he left the company. This guy had a world title match in Fukuoka against Hiroki Goda, even though it wasn't planned, but still he was in it. So I hope he's like continuing to evolve and be involved in important storylines. Then we go on to Evil versus Ryohei Oiwa. And this one started quick with Oiwa trying to surprise Evil with multiple flash pinfalls. And pretty much the entire match was built around that, with Evil trying to cheat to win, while Oiwa used a little bit of chances that he got to win with quick falls. Like, similar to the match before, this is the typical spots that we have seen in every single Evil match at the G1 Climax so far. Ref bumps, interferences from Dick Togo, and of course Don Fale, and like everything else that you need to imagine, like low blows, ref pull away and everything. Hartley then came out to take out Fale, which was like a good idea because he's like the only guy in the roster that can rival Fale in terms of like size and weight. And I think that was like a funny idea to send him out to help Oiwa here. In the end, then, Dick Togo was still out there, used the powder to give Evil the final advantage that he needed to put away Oiwa away with the Scorpion Deathlock via submission. Oiwa tipped out. Evil now, the first one, or like the second one at 8 points. Not really a surprising result. And I feel like this was one of the matches where you just can't have interest in Evil. Because while I don't think it was like bad or anything, I actually think it was one of his better matches. But you quickly see in this match layout whether he's winning or he's losing. Like, in this case, it was so obvious that he's winning because Oiwa got so much offense that it was clear that down the line, okay, Evil would just cut through him and just beat him. And that was like literally the case. Oiba got all the offense in during the middle or the ending stretch. Evil then needed one cheating move and then just won it with the Scorpion Deathlock. Like I said, I thought it was like one of the better matches. I think the comedic stuff worked well here with Dick Togo and following the outside as well as Hartley interfering. Oiwa did well, but yeah, I wish I could do something longer this, but no, sadly it wasn't. Then we move on to the third match of the show. We have David Finlay facing Bolton Oleg. Finlay, of course, entering with a 1-4 record, needs to win out from now to have at least a little bit of a chance to go through in the playoff stage, as well as Bolton, of course, who had a good start in the GP, but suffered a big loss against Tsuji on the last show that set him back a little bit after a 3-1 start. This match was kind of like, who is stronger? And I like the formula. Like, it started right off the gate with Bolton catching Finlay into the fireman's carry and showing his strength. Meanwhile, of course, Finlay had his typical strength moves into that, especially in this control sequence that started shortly after, with Bolton starting to get some comebacks here and there. But in general, like, this was a very smart laid out match with Finlay having control, Bolton always fighting back, and on top it was like super hard hitting, so it was like really entertaining. The idea of Finlay being caught out of nowhere was established throughout of the tournament. Like, all of his matches were lost because he was caught out of a with a counter or anything and just pinned, especially the Tanahashi one. So it was played. So it was also part of this match here with him looking for some breaks whenever Bolton was like really on offense. Because when Bolton is on offense, he just runs through you. And Finlay saw that, took us a little bit of time here and there, and just concentrated fully on getting the win, even more than usual, because usually Finlay is really locked in, but this time in this match he was even more locked in already. That was especially seen when like Bolton hit the short kamikaze literally out of nowhere. They got Finlay for a second, and then that changed like the entire momentum for a bit until Finlay found the way to get a break. In the end, Finlay then busted out a roll-up finish, surprisingly. That was like super interesting to win the match, because a lot of his matches built around the overkill, getting an overkill in. And like I said, most of the time it was countered, and then of course he lost the match. But this time he realized it, didn't went for it at all. I don't think there was like a single piece of the overkill, and just won with a smart finish. That was like 10 minutes of full great action with both Bolton and Finlay just showing out. In general, I think both have a good tournament. Bolton likely has a better tournament in my opinion, because my expectations for Finlay, of course, way higher. But Finlay, of course, still has the big names coming up that he will deliver against. Then we go on to Taichi versus Yota Tsuji, and that was a match people looked forward a lot, and it was kind of hyped on social media, and I totally understand why, because this match was legitimately really, really good. It started off slower, and they went to the outside a bit to save some time and get some time over before getting back into the ring. And the moment it got back into the ring, it was great throughout. Like, Tsuji dominated most of the match, and I like his role for him. Even more than I like him usually. He is so vicious. He's so good. His facial expressions are so well. And you just want to see this guy dominate. And I think that is like the perfect role for him out of this, like in this entire tournament. Like, this is what he should be. And the crowd got so into it as well, because of course they loved Taichi, cheered him on. Meanwhile, Tsuji played this dominant role really well, and the sequences they had throughout this match with the near falls building up and everything was just great. Like, Tsuji hit fantastic near strikes. Taichi's elbow always looked fantastic and sound fantastic especially. Towards the end of the match, Tsuji tried to hit the double foot stomp into the super kick, into the backdrop driver to a great near fall. Taichi then instantly set up the Black Mephisto and beat Yota Tsuji, and maybe even an upset to get to 6 points, as well as stopping Yota Tsuji from reaching 10 points. And I think that was like a typical, okay, we're getting everyone on the same page kind of win for Tsuji, because of course, with that, nobody in the A block really escaped in terms of like, okay, will they go through? Maybe even at like Zack did a show before, but it doesn't seem to be the case, because everyone seems to be at least kind of equaled. And Taichi, of course, with the 2 points, gets still in contention of being in the conversation of advancing on the final nights at least. So his final few matches will be very interesting because he still has Kellum Newman coming up. That seems to be an easy win. Same for Oiwa, and then of course Bolton. Like from everyone, he pretty much has the easiest path to get through the next stage. For the match overall, I thought it was like legitimately great. Like everyone who hyped it up on social media was totally right about it. I thought it was like super well done. Both did their stuff well. And my personal match of the night, I can't really say anything like bad about this. I thought it was like legitimately great. Then we go on to the next A block match. Yuya Uemura faces Hiroshi Tanahashi in a rematch from New Japan Dominion that surprisingly Tanahashi won. Now Uemura has a chance to get the win over Tanahashi in the main event here. And from a match layout, it felt like a passing the torch moment of Tanahashi's match style, which kind of sounds like silly. But if I try to explain it a little bit, it may make more sense. Like, the match was pretty much laid out to be a typical Tanahashi main event. Like, very slow at the beginning. It was super Tanahashi pilled, maybe more than any match that he had so far in G1. And it escalated quicker and quicker. Like, you had Super B selling of both. The psychology of the match was fantastic. And then, of course, the end with the deadball struggle, where Yuya Uemura tried to get the deadball suplex in. Tanahashi tried to escape with headbutts, but it wasn't enough, and he was hit with the deadball suplex for the 3 count. It was like super well done. Like, it felt like very much a young future ace overcoming the legend type of match, where Tanahashi had him like kind of, I would even say, outsmarted at some points and had the control, but Uemura just showed the fire and overcame him at the end and got the big win over Tanahashi. And I think that was like important win for him because he needs these kind of main event situations wins where he just beats some people, because of course he lost to Yota Tsuji, he lost to Taichi, so on the third try he finally beat someone here with Tanahashi, and I think this was well. In general, I think, and I'm really shocked by this, right? I was like joking, okay, Tanahashi will just go out of the G1 after like 3 matches, will just not continue because of his body is giving up. But I feel like he's getting better with every match. Like, if we go through his matches, I really loved the Taichi one, but it was mainly because Taichi had a fantastic performance there. His match against Bolton was great, but also I thought that Bolton was a better part here. The Finlay match was legitimately his first really good match, and I thought, okay, he looked also great in. His Oiwa match was fine, and then the Umura match is like the match I would personally say he had the best performance in by himself. Like, that is what I would say, and I think that is like a super important part, because Tanahashi still has a few matches left, and seeing him getting better just shows this dude is legitimately one of the best ever. And he shows that even at this age, at this retirement, where he shouldn't go as hard as he did. And I think that is like what you exactly want from him, right? Like, this tournament is exactly what you want from him, maybe even better. He shows out, he puts over the young guys, just beats the older dudes. I would imagine he will likely lose to Sonata, so Sonata gets some points and then wins out against Evil to get his 100th win on the final day. Like, that is what at least I expect. And I think that also makes a lot of sense there. So I would say I was really happy with that match, with the main event. In general, I thought it was one of the better A-block days in the last couple of days, because the last couple of A-block days really went really good. So this one was like one of the better ones, in my opinion. Then I would say we jump straight into my overall thoughts on this day. And like I said, it was one of the better shows. I especially liked the last 3 matches. They were like all legitimately really good, if not great. The 2 House of Torture matches at the beginning were like pretty much whatever. But I feel like the final 2 matches have elevated this to a really good show. So I would say they should be really happy with that show. And it was the first show, I noticed that was up year over year in terms of like the G1. So that should be also something to be celebrated, even though it was just like 30 fans or something, and it was still not like really good, but that is whatever. Then I would say we jump into the match times, and I will just show you the screenshot of with day 9 included, because I'm not changing that up. I'm sorry for that. And we have, in terms of the A block, Evil, Yota Tsuji, Yuya Uemura all at 8 points at first. Then we have Bolton, Kellum, Newman, Ryohei Oiwa, Taiichi all at 6. David Finlay, Hiroshi Tanahashi, and Sonata all at 4. Kind of like being the ones that need to make a comeback now. I don't think Sonata and Tanahashi will do that. I believe that that Finlay will at least get an 8, and then there will be like a winner goes through kind of situation with him and Uemura. With the match times, still the first one in A block is still Taichi with 1 hour and 34 minutes and 32 seconds. Then Uemura, then Tanahashi, then Finlay, Tsuji, Oiwa, Bolton, Evil, Kellum, Newman. In the end, it's Sonata with under an hour with an average match time of around 9 minutes. So, and with that, I would say this might be the shortest review I've ever done for the G1, and I think this will stay the shortest because I have a lot to watch. I still need to watch the 9th day. I still need to watch the New Japan the Stardom shows, as well as trying to catch up other stuff and doing some relapses. So I hope you all enjoyed it. Leave a like and comment down below, and we will see us later today when the second episode comes out. Bye bye.